Hey everybody, how's it going? Still breaking up all these trees that I dropped, and I figured, well, by popular demand, let's give this Iron Horse 372 another run. I really like this saw. It's not the most nutso saw I've ever run, but it's fast, it idles good, it starts good, I don't have to tune it. It's a good saw. And for doing work, this is what I would consider a work saw. This is as work saw as it gets. Anyhow, let's fire this thing up and break down these trees.
She cuts, eh?
Well, and since we're out here, and I got my Iron Horse saw, this one here, it's not a big one, it's 40 feet maybe, something like that. Yeah, it's got to be 40. I'm going to slam this thing into there, hopefully not snagging it, but I want to take some of these down. They're starting to become hazard trees, and I'll just slam this thing into the tree line and continue on with my day. So this might get ugly. I'm going to take off as many of these branches as I can, do my notch in there, and I'll fall it back here where I have a clear path to get out. Let's get this going. Like to show you guys the day in and day outs. You want to buy big property? Well, this is what your day is going to be sometimes. And so I woke up to the worst sound that a feller out here can wake up to. Our sewage pump was running and running and running the other night in the rain. Well, that means either you're going to get a backup if the pump is dead or something to that, you know, something of that sort. Well, I went downstairs and checked the pump. Pump was cold, which tells me it's primed. It's still moving water, but it was running and running and running. Well, that pump said April of 2013, so it's 11 years old. So I knew that sewage pump needs to be changed. But anyhow, friends, I'm going to show you how the sewage system works here, what we use here. Most people can't have this here. I have this, or we have this system because of the amount of land we have, but I'll show you guys. So here in the back 40, we got this super cool, I don't know what it was. It's like an old Coors truck, or I can't read it out, but super old van body. This is the orchard section. A lot of these trees are dying off in here, but there's apple trees in here and that. And I like it. You guys can see something's made a home under here. But so anyhow, I love this thing. Got no use for it and it's well gone, but you can see just a who's who of old farm goods. What I'd like to do actually is empty this thing out and use this as some kind of a woodshed. But anyhow, she's been sitting there for 10 or 12 years since I've lived here, and I've never done anything with it. But okay, friends, so inside the house we have a holding tank. We do not have a field here, a septic field like most people have. We have what's called an ejector system. And what this unit does here is there's an inner pipe of 1 inch, and then there's a 4-inch outer pipe. The way this works is that when the pump goes on, there's a venturi in there, and it sprays through the center here at high pressure and sprays it about 6 feet that way. This is gray water, okay? The solids stay in the tank, and they get pumped out by the honey wagon once a year. But all of our gray water goes out here. Well, what I noticed is, actually I have a video I'll put in here, right here. Okay, so that's how it was the other night. And I noticed the ejector was pushed out. And I've noticed a couple times this spring my ejector keeps pushing out. And I couldn't see anything in there. This all comes apart, friends. You could take this all the way out. This goes 8 feet. Yeah, 6 feet below grade is the end of this pipe. And you can pull it out and clean it and do whatever. And so basically what I found today is, friends, wouldn't you know it, a little granite pebble got lodged. You know, a little pebble about this big got lodged in the venturi, and the venturi was completely blocked. And that's why all this water is here, because it was actually filling the outer pipe. How this is supposed to work, under pressure, it blows through the venturi and blows only through the center. Once the pump shuts off, it goes back down, okay, through the sides of the venturi and fills up this pipe below ground. And this pipe acts as a type of reservoir. And then, of course, once it turns back on again, it creates a natural suction and pulls the pipe clean. And this is what we use here, even in winter, at 50 below. As long as you have a good pump and everything's in good shape, this thing will only have water coming out of it under pressure. It'll never freeze, and there's never water in this pipe. Okay, so now that being said, first winter we were here, it was minus 50. It was Christmas. I remember this. I think it was Boxing Day. My pump failed, and this pipe actually froze. Now, if you notice here, there's a seam there. Well, I actually had to cut this pipe off. I had to dig this out in winter by hand, frozen. And I decided after a whole day of trying to thaw this thing, it actually froze all the way below ground, about a foot. And this whole pipe was frozen. And I didn't want to end up having to pump my sewage all winter, you know, into the back 40 here. And I mean, I could do that, friends. It's not a big deal. I don't have neighbors or anything. But so I made the executive decision. I cut it off with a hacksaw. Ended up sliding the whole works out of the center. And then I actually built kind of a makeshift building over here, put plywood down, and I put a tube heater, a 200,000 BTU tube heater at the entrance of it, and, you know, made sure I wasn't going to catch anything on fire. And I actually went to the city for lunch, and when I came back, it was all thawed, and I hit the switch and she pumped. So, but anyways, friends, just another day on the farm. Now, if you're asking where does this go, does it smell? Yes, it does smell. If you're in the wrong section and downwind from here, you will get a little stank. That's just the nature of the beast. It is sewage. This goes here, and you can see all the reeds in that. This section of my yard is very green in the summer. This goes all the way to here, and it leaches into the ground and is absorbed. This is all a ditch that I dug years ago, about 10-12 years ago. And then it ends up going into the ditch there, travels about 500-600 feet that way, and ends up in the natural ditch. But there's definitely enough time for it to leach into the ground. Well, that's enough fun for one night. You guys asked about the pipe on this. That's not a muffler, that's actually a pipe saw. It looks like a muffler though. This is that 372 that Harvey built me. And look at that. I'm honored to own this saw. And it's one of my favorites because it just gets the job done. And you know, in this type of wood I cut, idling and crack, you know, when you pull the trigger are the two main things that I care about. And this saw idles like all day long. It starts really easily and it's got good crack. So for limbing stuff like this, it's incredible. And it's got good power. When you're in bigger wood, this thing does the job. And so anyways, just enjoying another nicely built power saw. It reminds me, I hope to get a Donnie Walker saw one day. What saw should Donnie Walker build for me? Probably a 372, eh? First ported saw I ever ran was a Donnie Walker 372. Anyhow, friends. Anyhow, that was some ugly tree work there, but again, if I put a rope on the top of that, it would break. So it was just more like send it and then cut it out. I knew it was gonna snag, but there's 5 or 6 nice size little saplings growing back there that I wanted to save, so I just cut it out of the saplings. I only damaged one of them, so just let a little more light into the tree line. Anyhow, friends, thanks for coming to hang out, and got a lot of cleanup to do here, but we'll do that this week after work. Oh, look at that. Little something something for after. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you guys in a couple days. Later.